Next, I'm going to welcome on stage Emiliyan Enev, co-founder of Recheck, please. And he is returning to us this year. He was one of the key presenters last year, so it's very exciting to have him here again. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Here's your
clicker.
Clicker, yes. And you're going to get a warning when you have 5 minutes left, and then 2 minutes and 1 minute.
And then somebody will take me off the stage. Okay, hi everyone. It's a real pleasure to be here for a second year at LibertyBits, and congrats to the organizer sitting right there behind. I'll be speaking about making privacy and security easier, and I'll be speaking about what is our approach of our company Recheck. And Recheck is one of the pioneers in the development of blockchain products, at least in the region. We started developing blockchain solutions in 2016, and one of our latest products is exactly in the field of security, privacy, ownership of data. So I will come to this a bit later. So what are the prevailing business models now? I give you my data, and I take some services for free. So it works, it's everywhere, and we are addicted to this. And all kinds of social platforms, all kinds of emails, all kinds of online services, they are based on this model. So I would say that it is standard now. And why does it work? Because it is considered cheap or free. I provide some data, it goes somewhere, and then I get some services. Actually, in most of the cases, I'm not aware that I'm providing this information. And it's fast, and it's a no-brainer, and all my friends and contacts are already on these platforms. So actually, it is something that I'm forced to use or to get used to, like getting a present. And let me tell you something. I was speaking with a number of people, companies, and actually only few people really care about privacy and security. So everybody uploads documents to Google Drive, and of course this data can be scanned, it's available to the service provider, and not only everybody shares sensitive information by email, and actually the email is the most common channel for all kinds of man-in-the-middle attacks, phishing attacks. So people do not really think about this until there is a real problem, challenge, a risk, or something bad happens. And we are addicted, actually, and we are spoiled. So I'm not saying this for the people in this building, in this room, but that's my general feeling. And if you can prove me wrong, I'll be more than happy. So going back to the previous slide, people don't care unless privacy and security can be somehow embedded in a really streamlined, in a really easy, intuitive way into the solutions and into the platforms. So it's not about expecting users to install a specific plugin or to go through some complicated procedure in order to get into a secure environment for running transactions. It's not about using some specific tools. It's about embedding privacy and security by design, by default, in the systems in a way that users are not expected, and businesses, of course, are not expected to do something extra, to put some additional effort, spend time, and make their life more difficult. So what is our solution to this? We provide a pluggable blockchain identity layer. Pluggable meaning that it can be integrated within existing systems, within databases, within all kinds of ERP, CRM software, because you need to start from something. And because it's not realistic to expect users and businesses to migrate to decentralized architecture applications, and it's still early to some extent, and there are some regulation issues. There are challenges, for example, related to scalability, user experience, whatever. And that's why our approach is to start with this small concrete thing, embedding the blockchain identity layer into existing platforms and solutions. And we provide this as an easily integratable component. So how does it work? You have your database with users' data, and then you can include a blockchain identity for each user, unique blockchain identity for each one of the users within your profile system. So you have, for example, all kind of credentials, all kind of data like personal information, name, phone, email, and everything else. And then you can insert a new field with the unique blockchain identity of the user. So it's like appending this identity as a new layer or a new field, new parameter into the existing user data, which is already stored, managed by the companies, by institutions. And what happens next? On one hand, users can claim this identity, can control it, but on the other hand, this unique blockchain identity can be created by the users, for example, by scanning a unique challenge QR code. I will show it in one of the next slides, or by other step, in a way that this identity is automatically created and stored, of course, in an encrypted way, usually on the smartphone, on the mobile device of the user, in a way that this user is actually the owner and controls this identity. It is already working, and we have a few implementations where we have added this blockchain identity layer to existing systems and also in some new products that are being developed at the moment. And then the users can do so-called decentralized login. So it's a new way to authenticate. For example, you go to a website, and instead of entering your email password and credentials, there is a unique challenge QR code. You scan it with your mobile device. Then you execute and sign a transaction with your unique identity. There is an authentication process in behind, and then you are automatically logged in for less than a second. So it is the same time or even less compared to the time you need in order to enter your credentials, usernames and password. And speaking about freedom and privacy, there is no such personal information and user data that is stored somewhere, but you can log in with your identity on your device. Currently, this is one of the features in our solutions for managing documents on blockchain. You can check it, Recheck Docs is the name of our solution. And in order to log in and to use the service, you need to make this decentralized login. It can work even without a mobile application, directly a web application opened from the browser, and there are a few options to store the unique identity. One of the options is in the local storage of the browser. Other way is encrypted on the device in local database, and there are some other solutions that we are currently developing. Of course, it works also with a mobile application. Speaking about Recheck Docs, it is something very aligned to the goal and to the values of this event. Recheck Docs is a solution to secure your important documents and to share them in a very efficient way with others. So you can easily register a document on blockchain. What you see, the QR over there, is the hash, the encrypted blockchain identity of the document. And then you can send this file with end-to-end encryption to another user by encrypting this file to the identity of the recipient in a way that only this selected user can open it. So it is a service for a very secure exchange of sensitive data, or a service that can help you store your important documents like diploma, like contracts, like document proving ownership, and really essential stuff. So what are the benefits related to this? Of course, it is about anonymization layer, because this blockchain identity is completely anonymous. We do not store any kind of personal information when when we provide the service to users. So it is a GDPR compliant solution, and the level of privacy and security is really high. And each document and each transaction interaction with this document leaves some digital proofs on the blockchain, which can be used in a number of use cases from the businesses. So if you're curious about this service, reach out to me after the event to provide more details. Each transaction that you execute with your blockchain identity is signed by you, so you are the owner of this content. Here there will be very interesting business models in the future where people will be finally in charge, controlling their data, and this will open very interesting scenarios for new interactions, business models, and monetizing your content in a controlled way. And it is part of the concept of self-sovereign identity. That was from me. If you have any questions, please send me a message at this email or reach out to me, and let's chat. Thank you for the attention.
Fantastic. We have a record, the first speaker to finish ahead of the allotted time. That's what I'd like to see. It's time to ask Emiliyan a few questions. Somebody? Anybody? Okay, so we have a question right there.
How about the security of the mobile device which was signed? So identity theft would be particularly easy with Android, for instance.
Yeah, important questions, of course. Currently, we apply additional step with PIN number, entering your PIN, very similar to what online banking uses. On the other hand, actually you should speak with our CTO about this. And I understand your possible concerns about this. You mean that somebody could get control of other users' identity? Yeah, it's about how this private key is encrypted and stored on the local device. It's about the overall protection and encryption that is that we use. But currently we explore some other solutions. But I'm not really the technical guy that could provide the precise information. But we are very much aware about these potential risks. Yeah.
We have a question at the back.
Hi. So you mentioned that during your decentralized login, transaction is signed by the user. Is this transaction published on a public blockchain for everyone to see? And if so, every time I log in, could that be tied and potentially be used for through big data analysis to track when I'm being logged on and so on? Does that make sense?
Exactly. During this authentication process, this is not a new stored transaction on the blockchain. The user connects to the backend application, and there is an authentication module from behind, where this is implemented in a really fast and efficient way, but it is not a new transaction that we store.
So it's not a public transaction. I misunderstood then. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, we have a question this side of the room.
Hi. Do you know the ER725 digital identity on the blockchain protocol? And what do you think? ER725. It's on Ethereum, it's like the same guy who made the ERC20 tokens is working on the ER725, and it's identity on the blockchain on Ethereum.
It is Ethereum request for comment ERC?
725, yes. It's
725.
identity on the blockchain.
Yeah.
There's already a few implementations. There's an alliance for that. So do you know it, and what will be the differences with that?
This is something that we have explored with my colleague, but we are aware, but I cannot provide some comparison or information. I'm not really the technical guy in the team. Actually, there are many, currently there are some new standards emerging for decentralized identifiers. So this thing with usernames and password will go in the past, one way or another. This foundation, I forgot the name, there are a number of organizations working into this field.
Civic was doing something like that?
Sorry?
Civic, maybe? If I'm not
Civic,
mistaken.
they're about managing identity. Uport is about managing identity. Sovereign is about managing identity. So there are a number of organizations digging into this. And actually, this solution can be plugged into other platforms, or we can somehow extend this as a partnership. But we are exploring this, yes.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Very, very insightful.
Thank you.
Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you.